So my talk today is love the power of your creative mind. You know, sometimes we don't think of our mind as being a loving thing or a feeling thing because we think with it and it's rational. Well, for some of us anyway. Everybody shares that. You can go ahead to the next slide if you don't mind. When I do this, Kathy, that'll mean change. So, you know, our minds are a portal to the infinite creative power of spirit. We have been given the possibility of co-creating with spirit that which we desire. And that creative power already lives within us and all around us. It's not something we have to acquire. I think it's something we have to wake up to, we have to recognize, and we have to cultivate it and develop it so that we can employ that creative power of our minds. I want to read you something that our founder, Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes, said. There is no such thing as your mind, my mind, and God's mind. And in fact, you can read along with me, maybe. Well, it's kind of small. Okay, so listen. There is no such thing as your mind, my mind, and God's mind. There is only one mind in which we live and move and have our being. We are surrounded by a mind or intelligence that knows everything. The potential knowledge of all things exists in this one mind. The abstract essence of beauty, truth, and wisdom coexist in the mind of the universe. We also exist in it, and we may draw from it. But what we draw from it, we must draw through the channel of our own minds. A unity must be established, and a conscious connection must be made before we can derive the benefits which the greater mind is willing to reveal or impart to us. If there is but one mind to give birth to ideas, then God goes forth anew into creation through every person's life. You are an essential part of life because creation is happening through you. Never downgrade yourself. You are absolutely essential because we are not whole without you. There are ways on the human level of experience that we can cultivate and nurture this creative mind. Things like lifelong learning. And what a wonderful presence we are for that. We continue to learn and to teach in this teaching, but this very center houses the opportunity for lifelong learning when Ollie comes here. These are people who are continually learning in their later years. How wonderful is that? So they're cultivating that creative mind. There are other small ways that we can cultivate and nurture that creative mind within us. Things like, you know, when you daydream, I mean, some of my best ideas come when I'm daydreaming or when I'm taking a shower or just driving around in the car. So when you daydream or when you have night dreams that you remember, write them down and be with them for a little bit and see if maybe it's calling you to take some action in regard to those dreams. They didn't just, you know, filter down for no reason. They came to you for a purpose. Fulfill it. You know, creativity games are another way that we can nurture our creative mind by looking at new ways to see things and to do things, new ways of using things. Just for a moment, take the next 30 seconds to just brainstorm in your own creative mind. Think of a paper clip. And I want you to think of all the things you could use a paper clip for other than its normal use to clip papers together. So just take 30 seconds in your own mind and then share with the person next to you at least one of those different things.
I mean, remove the wax. Remove the wax. Oh, I didn't hear the question. Yeah, something else. Open the door. I've used it for a bunch of things.
I could use it to poke you and make sure you're awake.
Great. That's great. Somebody shout out one other one.
Open up your disk drive.
Do what?
Open a DVD.
Open a DVD player. Okay, great. Yeah. Something over here.
Use for earrings when you forget.
Earrings. Bobby pin.
Yeah.
Clean your
Because those
fingernails.
are hard to find now. Yeah.
Turn it into an S, that's our last name, Stone Dog.
There you go. Monogram. All right. So the U.S. Patent Office may be hearing from some of you. All right. That was great. Now, that was kind of an easy one. Now, let me give you a little bit more challenging one. And this is what I'm going to ask you to do not only today, but for the rest of your days. I want you to think of what it means, and I mentioned this last week. Think of what it means to be a center for spiritual living, and the Sunday service experience is not one of the answers. Think about all the things it means to be a center for spiritual living. Think about that, and then maybe share one or two with your close associates. Bring your sharing to a close just for now, but continue sharing with each other your ideas of what it means to be a center for spiritual living, because the possibilities are endless, and there are people out there looking for every one of those possibilities. There are people in here looking for those possibilities, and I'm asking you to be those possibilities. Use your creative mind. Open your heart. Let me hear just one over here. What is it to be a center for spiritual living? Yes?
To embody values of love and peace and be those values collectively and individually and spread those ideas out into the world at large.
Yes. So those community core values we work on, it's not enough to just identify them and then put them on a piece of paper, but to live them and model them and share them. Thank you. That's great. So a center for spiritual living isn't necessarily the building, is it? No. Yes.
The center of our physical body is our umbilical, our belly button. It means we came from somewhere, and it's our constant reminder and our touchstone, our center of energy, our center of everything. And so we are a touchstone, a belly button.
Yeah, we are. That's great. We are the belly button of the universe. The touchstone.
When you're not present, you can, when we're not present here,
Yes.
we have a reminder.
Everywhere that we are, yes. So not only is this a center for spiritual living, we are each centers of spiritual living. Yes.
That through our cumulative prayer, whether we're together or apart in daily life, that our positive thinking about peace in the world will be part of bringing that about. Someday.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A place where somebody could say gossip doesn't work.
Yes.
And be heard.
Yes. Where we openly communicate with one another, where we are truly transparent and that we have the courage to speak our hearts and minds and to listen.
I was just going to say it's been a wonderful opportunity for me to expand my horizons, acquaintanceships, friendships, and the opportunity to be supported when I need support, and the opportunity to be supported to someone I don't exactly know, but is part of the family here.
Absolutely. Wonderful. And keep talking about this. When we go and party hardy later, keep talking about this. Keep talking about this after I leave, because I'm going to be talking about it on the other coast. So let's keep talking about what it means. And then let's actually be those things. Are you on for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. You know, one of the other things that sort of came out from what Spring said is another way that we cultivate the creative mind within us and all around us is by finding connections between things that are seemingly unconnected. Leonardo da Vinci, who you probably agree was a genius, said this: realize that in some way everything connects with everything else. We are one. We are one unified whole here. And so let's believe that, act from that place, and cultivate that in our creative mind. Do things like capture your doodling, write poetry, write music, write anything, paint, listen to stories, tell stories. That all cultivates and nurtures our creative mind. Think out of the box. Look for new solutions to challenges. Don't look for one solution. Look for 10. Look for 100. Look for all the possibilities. And probably foremost, engage in spiritual practices that bring you to that center that we're talking about. Through meditation, through visioning, catching Spirit's vision for the greater yet to be, through prayer, through spiritual study, through service to each other and to all of humanity, through giving of our time, our talent, and our treasure. That all nurtures our creative mind. So that the human in us begins to recognize the divine within us, and we recognize that they are one, that we are having a human and a spiritual experience simultaneously. They are not mutually exclusive. You know, creative intelligence, using our creative mind, is thinking into and with the one mind of Spirit. It is that communion that I spoke about on the first Sunday of the Love Month. The communion with the beloved, being at one with the beloved, the divine. The benefits of that, the benefits of being in that union with the beloved, being in that union with the beloved puts us in union with one another. We stop forgetting that we're connected, and we remember truly that we are one. And what it brings for us individually and collectively is expanded awareness and evolved consciousness, which will change the world, absolutely. The ability to think in new ways, to get new perspectives, to have a new way of experiencing and expressing life in powerful ways. It brings us understanding and compassion and peace. Cultivating that creative mind brings us an expanded capacity to think and to create in brand new ways. To do more and take more and better choices and decisions and actions. To meet our challenges in powerful ways so that they are no longer challenges but accomplishments. To create in unlimited ways from not either or philosophy but both and possibilities. We're not looking at opposites, but we're looking at all of it. To be able to make a greater contribution to our own self, to others, and to the world. Developing our creative mind brings our head and our heart into alignment, and we get to practice being the presence of Spirit, to be a center of spiritual living, where the human and the divine are one. When we attend to and cultivate and love the power of our creative mind, we get wisdom. There's a phrase in Scripture that says, in all of your getting, get wisdom. Get wisdom. And wisdom from the ancient Greek means skill for living. Skill for living. To live well. That's wisdom. And it's essential for awakening our own consciousness and the consciousness of this planet so that we can all be awake. That's what I call at-one-ment. Not atonement, at-one-ment. Be awake. Be awake. You know, when the Buddha was asked, who are you? Are you God? And the Buddha said, no, I am awake. I am awake. Be the Buddha. Be awake. We see wisdom, that skill for living, in most of the world's spiritual traditions. From Judaism and Christianity, we read, the greatest good is wisdom. And from Islam, those to whom wisdom is given, they truly have received abundant good. Wisdom moves us beyond intelligence, beyond knowledge, beyond experience even. From Buddhism, we read, one momentary glimpse of divine wisdom born of meditation is more precious than any moment of knowledge. Wisdom, wisdom. Wisdom makes us visionary, intuitive, illuminated. It aligns us with the mind of spirit. Wisdom is liberating. It dissolves the mental blocks that keep us from being our highest and best. It removes the prisons of our minds where we keep ourselves small. St. Paul said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so this year we made our theme transformation. Transformation. And I asked some weeks ago, how many want transformation? And pretty much everybody's hands went up. And then I said, who wants to change? Oops. So focus on if transformation feels better than change, then so be it. Focus on the transformation that you want to experience in your life and that you want to experience in this community. Focus on that transformation. And again, I don't think transformation is about becoming someone we're not. I think it's about us stopping being someone we're not. We stop being who we are not, and we begin to be who we truly are when we transform into the truth of us, into the authenticity of us, into the spirit of us. That's transformation. So focus on the transformation that you want to experience in your life and in your community. Know that the conscious mind is the goal setter or the intention setter. And the subconscious mind is the goal getter or the intention fulfiller. When our conscious mind and our subconscious mind come together in agreement, we get a result. As Ernest Holmes said, a thought plus a feeling equals a result. Thought plus feeling in agreement. Big result. One of my favorite philosophers, unknown, you know Does change and growth take place when a person has risked themselves and dares to become involved with experimenting with his own life? Change and growth, which is transformation, takes place when a person has risked themselves and dares to become involved with experimenting with his own life. Experiment with your own life. Experiment with this community life. Experiment, try things, reach out, step out of your comfort zone. Because when we stretch out of our comfort zone, we create a new comfort zone, and then we stretch beyond that one, and we become more and more and more of who we truly are. And it's a powerful thing to have happen from within you outward, and it's a powerful thing to be in the presence of. When I stand next to someone who's becoming fully themselves, I become more myself. At one-ment. Each one that wakes up the others just a little bit more. Wake up. I am awake. I'm going to have you do a little exercise. It's called point far. Now, most of it, I'll have you do this in just a minute. I'll model it first. When we came into this world, we became influenced by our parents, and then later in school, and then by our church, our minister, our culture, our country, the world. It's called programming. So programming comes in, and it has something to do with our thoughts. Programming, thoughts, moves into having a feeling about those thoughts, right? And then we take some action around all of that, and we create a result. Point far when you create that result. Don't go here, don't go there. Point far when you create that result. And as Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life. Reprogram any time your life isn't working. Program. Think. Feel. Act. Get a result. Point far. You can do that at any time. Anytime you catch yourself being smaller than who you truly are, anytime you feel yourself stuck, reprogram, think, feel, act, get a result that points far. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we are. And it's change your thinking, change your life. Too often in this teaching we interpret it, change your thinking, change my life. It's not how it works. So stand up if it's comfortable to stand up, and let's do that. I want you to know this exercise because there's something about it being visceral that makes it powerful. So we're going to program our thoughts, our feelings. We're going to take action. We're going to get a result that points far. That feels pretty good, huh? And you don't have to go to the gym today. Think, feel, act, point far for the result. Yes. Excellent. Keep doing that. Wisdom. Wisdom recognizes, cultivates, and uses the power of that creative mind that we can reprogram at any time so that we can experience what it is that we want to experience, and we can be the expression of what it is that we're called to express. I want to read this from the Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom is radiant and unfolding, and she is easily discerned by those who love her, and is found by those who seek her. She hastens to make herself known to those who desire her. To fix one's thoughts on her is perfect understanding. The beginning of wisdom is the most sincere desire for instruction. The multitude of the wise is the salvation of the world. I think it's pretty informative that wisdom has always been known as the feminine aspect of ourselves. Intelligence is the male. Wisdom is the feminine. And they go together, my friends. Wisdom. Our humanity and our divinity, the intersection of our oneness, is where we will find that wisdom. In communing with the beloved, in spending time in nature and seeing divine order all around us. In silence and in solitude, we tap into that divine, powerful mind. We find wisdom among us. There are wise among us. In the human experience, in the communal experience, in the divine experience, in and all around us. We find wisdom in ourselves, the last place we look. It's in there. It was given to you. The infinite mind, the one mind, is within us and all around us. It is us. I want to close with a reading from a play that was written by, of all people, Dave Clark of the Dave Clark Five. Go figure. Go Dave. The play was called Time. And I want to read this to you. And, you know, I'd even invite you to close your eyes and just kind of take it in. The first time I encountered this, I thought, wow, Dave Clark, who knew Dave Clark Five? I mean, the dude was smart. Here it is. Stand before me on the sign of infinity, all you of the earth. With the granting of the law of probation comes the application of change. I will give you the key. And with this knowledge, please realize, comes the responsibility of sharing it. I will show you the way. It's very simple. Throughout the universe, there is order. In the movement of the planets, in nature, and in the functioning of the human mind. A mind that is in its natural state of order is in harmony with the universe, and such a mind is timeless. Your life is an expression of your mind. You are the creator of your own universe. For as a human being, you are free to will whatever state of being you desire through the use of your thoughts and words. There is great power there. It can be a blessing or a curse. It's entirely up to you. For the quality of your life is brought about by the quality of your thinking. Think about that. Thoughts produce actions. See the pettiness and the envy and the greed and the fear and all the other attitudes that cause you pain and discomfort. Realize that the one thing that you have absolute control over is your attitude. See the effect that it has on those around you, for each life is linked to all life, and your words carry with them chain reactions like a stone that has been thrown into a pond. If your thinking is in order, your words will flow directly from the heart, creating ripples of love. If you truly want to change your world, my friends, you must change your thinking. Reason is your greatest tool. It creates an atmosphere of understanding, which leads to caring, which is love. Choose your words with care. Go forth with love. Blessings on your journey of loving the power of your creative mind. Begin by thinking consciously, creatively, and lovingly every time you think. Be awake. And so it is.
I'm ready to be you.